All right, who wants to hear about how amazing Sleeping Gods is?
He's gonna go. He's gonna fight me. He's a big He thinks he's awesome.
All right, so Sleeping Gods is awesome. Video's over. No, not really. This game's awesome. I've really enjoyed my plays of it. There's lots of stuff about that I love, and I'll talk about those here in just a little bit. However, I'm going to show you my like game overview or whatever. Basically, this was like right after a session that I played with the game with my buddy Brad. It's all over the place. It's a mess. I got to learn how to do rules stuff quicker or just skip it entirely, especially with this, since there's so many people doing really great how to play stuff out there. Like check out for example, Rodney Smith did one for this. Obviously watch it play, go check that out, watch that instead of my thing, click to the end, you'll find out why this game's awesome, and we'll go from there. All right, cool. All right, so this mess, I say that lovingly, is Sleeping Gods. My buddy Brad just left about an hour or so ago. We played through a good 3-4 hours of this. I've already played it quite a bit with my daughter, had a lot of fun with it. I mentioned it to my buddy Brad. He likes mystery games and things like this, so we dove in and we had some fun. Now, I'm not going to go into a big long explanation of the mechanisms and everything like that. A couple of reasons. One, people that do that sort of thing do it way better than me, so I'm not going to bother. I'm sure there's 1,000 videos of that stuff out there. Two, I don't want to give away too much about the game. This is a game that is going to... You want to play this game as a blank page when you first start out. And so I feel bad about even showing you any of the stuff that you already see in front of you, right? Because it kind of takes away from the mystery of the game and the excitement of delving into the game. But I'm just going to briefly explain what you're looking at here. So the game kind of pretty much takes place either on this map book that you get, and you have a ship that's represented by this figure right there. And the thing is the ship itself is kind of a character. So the ship, which is also located there, will have different ship actions that you can do, and then the crew members, which we're playing 2 players, so you have the captain of the ship, which is located here. That's Captain Sophie, who anybody can use. She's like a communal character, and like she's kind of like good at everything, you know, and has a lot of different abilities and things like that. And then there are specialized players, so I have these 4 over here. Brad took these 4 over here, and these special characters each have different backstories and things like that. Parts of their personalities will come through as you read through the different campaign aspects and the storylines that come through, which is kind of neat. You kind of get to know them, and once again, I don't want to like give away too much as we kind of dive into this. But more and more stuff gets revealed as you play the game and you figure out what's going on. So on your turns, whoever turn it is, the first thing they do is they take a ship action, which they will select one of the many ship actions. Some of the ship actions, like if you are on in the sick bay, you can use that to heal people. If you go to the bridge, you can use that to pull back all of your command tokens that you've placed out onto the board. I'll talk about command tokens in a little bit. You can go to the deck and you can search and kind of go through this kind of push your luck mechanism of where you can get some resources, but also bad things can happen to you. And after you do your ship action, whatever that is, you'll collect an ability card, and ability cards are these things over here. And like these will have different things that you can attach these to different characters. They have a spot underneath that if you pay the command token bonus you can add, which will increase their skills and increase their abilities. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I want you to kind of experience the game. These are also the number that's on there. It's the fate deck. So like a lot of times you'll challenge yourself with certain things that you want to accomplish, whether it is searching like a sunken wreck, or if it might be fighting some monsters or whatever, and you're going to draw a fate token, and that number will help determine whether or not you're going to win or lose whatever aspect you have. So there's a lot of these things and a lot of different aspects of how those work. As you kind of level up, and you do gain experience points, and you can use that to level up the different characters you have. It should be noted that the characters don't die if you run out of health. They just can't be used. You got to get them healed up, and then they can be used, and they're fine. The characters themselves, they each have special powers on them. I'm just going to kind of just drag Kasumi out here just because I still have to put this away and save it. I'll talk about saving the game here in just a little bit. But every character's got like some special abilities that allow you to do certain effects. Like Kasumi, if you place one command token on her, you can redraw a fate card. So things like that. If you put 2 on there, you can increase her accuracy by 1. So if you're going to be fighting, you can increase your accuracy when you're fighting something. Stuff like that. It should be, and I'll talk about combat. Combat's actually kind of really interesting. I want to talk about combat in probably towards the end of this. But as you place these command tokens, which, as I said, ship actions, that's how you get command tokens, and then you place these on there. Those lock into place onto the different parts of the characters, and also on the equipment that you have. And then you have to find a way to pull those off of there, because there are a finite amount of these tokens as well. And like I said, there are different ways to do that, but the bridge is a really good way to do that if you take a ship action of the bridge. It should be noted that you can't take the same ship action twice in a row. You have to do a different ship action each time, so it'll bounce around. And this game does play really well solo. I should mention that as well. On your turn, then, you will also draw a threat card. You build a threat deck. It should be noted that the campaign, there are 6 when you build your threat deck, there are 6 mild threats, 6 medium-level threats, and 6 deadly threats. You have basically 18 turns, and then you reset the threat deck, and you get to do your threat deck 3 times, and then you kind of go into an end game situation depending upon where you've traveled to, what you've done, what you've collected. The stuff that you've succeeded at and failed at will determine what the end of your story is. Talk about that here in just a little bit. The one cool thing, there's lots of cool things going on. I do have the upgraded, I do have the upgraded resources, because I backed this on Kickstarter. I got all the bells and whistles, including like this little battle mat here. You don't need those things. It just makes the game look cool. The gameplay is perfectly fine without it. I do have the Tides of Ruin expansion folded into this. Just for replay value, strongly suggest if you didn't back on the Kickstarter and you want to thinking about picking up the Tides of Ruin expansion, strongly suggest it. It just folds directly into the game. There's no it isn't like when you get an expansion where it's like, oh, there's all this new stuff. No, it's just more stuff. It's just more stuff that just seamlessly gets added to the game. So strongly suggest you take advantage of that. I should reach over and grab this as I reach through the camera here. No, faux pas. This is the mystery box or whatever in here, and some of these we haven't cracked open yet. That's why they still have the cellophane on them. I should just crack them all open, honestly. But these are the different adventure decks and quest decks that the game will tell you to reach in here and open. This is not a legacy game. It never tells you to destroy anything, at least that I've discovered anyway. So you can constantly replay things, but the way you interact with things will determine how those particular encounters work or don't work. So I should show you just quickly how to and just show you how combat works really quickly. This is from the introductory thing. When you get the game, there's a really quick introductory scenario that's going to teach you how to play the game. It works really, really well. But almost right away, you have a combat with these 2 Minotaur things. You place these 2 things down. You'll see that these Minotaurs have little health, little hearts on there. Your goal is to kill these health on the things that you're fighting, and then they also have these little numbers here, and those are the damages. So if you look at this, it says the Minotaur does 3 damage plus 1 for each one of these that's exposed. So the combat works pretty simple. You pick a character. The character has a damage equivalence. Let's say you pick somebody that has a 4 damage ability. and then they have an accuracy rating. So you check and see what it takes to hit somebody, and they have a shield rating of 6. You would check accuracy, and there's all these different things. Like, you can have different players use different abilities to like increase accuracy, or that you have equipment that increases accuracy or increases damage, and all kinds of different variables and what have you. But you'll determine what you need. You then will draw, like, say, like, I need a 6 and I have a 4 total. I draw this, and this has like a fate thing of 5, so that means that I would hit, and then I would do my damage. The way the damage works is kind of cool. So like, when you do damage, and like you have like 4 damage, you can start your damage tokens wherever you want. But you have to just kind of follow, like, you know, the way it works. So like, if you wanted to, and this is kind of neat, you can kind of go like 1, like if we did 4 damage, we could go 1, 2, and then like 3. And then I'll explain why we did 3, and then you can move over to attack the thing that's next to it, like so. And like, you do damage to the one next to you as well. That works really well. Like, so like, if you want to snake over to somebody else and do some extra damage, then you can like follow up and like actually hurt something maybe you couldn't hit otherwise. And then like, this one still has 1 hit point down there. Maybe we could have figured out a way to do that, but you know, we did in this case. And then the thing counterattacks you, and you notice it's 3 plus 1 for damage, so it would do 4 damage to the character that just attacked it, an automatic counterattack. And then you have blocking ratings and things like that to block some of the damage. There's other things you can mitigate. It should be noted that like, when you're spending command tokens for different powers and abilities, like, you can do those at any time. Like, you don't have to like, oh, it isn't my turn, I can't add to your block, I can't do this, that, and the other thing. No, as long as you have these tokens, you've earned those, and you can spend them on something, you can spend them on that and do that. And then like, after the counterattack happens, then the next person goes and say, you know, okay, well, I'm going to attack. And then even if you miss, you still do like 1 damage on a missed attack. So maybe the next person missed, but they can add that 1 damage there. You've covered up all the hearts on this one. It's dead. It can't counterattack, and so on and so forth. Combat is cool. It has like cool things. Also, if you ever cover up a spot that has a little diamond on it, like I think we did that right there, there are these synergy tokens. So say like the captain attacked, and then they has the synergy token. It can hand the synergy token to another player. So the players working together can say, oh, the next player that's going to attack is going to be this one. Okay, well then I'm going to make sure I give the synergy token to that player, so when they attack, they can get the bonus that this captain will give you, which in this case, it would be that you can place damage tokens diagonally, which is actually like a really important ability, because then you don't have to worry about going orthogonally with everything. So the synergy tokens are a really cool aspect as well, something I really enjoy. But like I said, combat, it does get a little more complex with more complex creatures than just these like kind of Minotaur guys. Some of there's like end of round effects and things like that, so you're going to be looking at what you're fighting and you're saying, we absolutely have to positively kill this one particular creature, because if we don't, it's going to destroy us. And like, the cool thing with this is that this deck, it has all of these monsters in there. You keep it face down and it'll tell you what numbers to drag out of there. Same thing with the quests and adventures, which is located in that big box. It'll tell you, pick out this particular card and put it down. And then you get these keywords, which I can see like over here. You get these keywords like picture. And then later on, it'll say, if you have the keyword picture, when you read something out of the paragraph book, which I haven't talked about the paragraph book yet, but I will, it'll say, okay, you've read out of the paragraph book. It does say picture. Okay, well, you've unlocked something else, something other than what you normally thought you're going to. And those things are super cool. Well, let's talk about the paragraph book really quick. Once again, I do not want to show off a bunch of stuff. Oh, I should mention, it has this little one sheet, like little thing back and forth, tells you everything you need to know how to play the game. It's I mean, with this, I mean, the rulebook is super good and it's super awesome, and I think the rulebook is excellent. But with this, you can play the game without ever having to look at the rulebook again. This is amazing. They outdid themselves with this one. But anyway, the paragraph book, and it should be mentioned that the expansion has its own paragraph book that is smaller than this, obviously, but but once again, it works seamlessly. So the paragraph book, it'll just tell you to go to a certain paragraph. I'm not going to read anything out loud. I'm not going to share anything. When you go to the paragraph, it'll tell you exactly what to do. It'll just say, hey, you're in this spot. There's something really interesting going on here. Do you have this keyword? If you don't have the keyword, you just do the standard thing. If you have the keyword, you obviously you do like the quest related thing. On the back, so this is the save sheet. So when you're playing a campaign game, like Brad and I played for a couple hours. I had to teach the game to Brad, and then we dove in. But we played for 2 hours, and we got fairly far. I mean, we accomplished some things, whatever. But when you get done, you write down exactly where you were, what you were doing, everything like that. So you know exactly where you're at, and then you can reload and start up again the next time you go. It also has this cool Wandering Sea map, which is that's what you are, the Wandering Sea. And you can, if you go to a certain spots and like maybe you went to a spot that says, does it have the keyword, whatever, rotten? Do you have the keyword rotten? No, we don't. Okay, well then we're gonna have to do X at that spot. But we'll know if we ever get a card that says keyword rotten, we can write it down on this map and we can track that down. And so you don't have to like sit there and remember, where did we go for that? How did we figure that out? And it should be mentioned that like if you travel, you're not focused on this particular map board. Like if you travel, like there are more maps, and it'll tell you what page to go to with those things. I do apologize. I'm kind of all over the place with how this works. I mean, if you held a gun to my head and said, "How do you play this game? How does this work?" This is kind of like a synergy game, obviously with synergistic combat. But there's a lot of different things where you're going to be outfitting your different characters with either equipment or skills, and then those skills are transitory. You are going to be discarding those cards off of those things for their powers and their abilities, and you're always going to be planning. This is definitely a planning and logistics game. Moving forward. What do I need? What do I need to do this? What do I need to do that? How can we make sure that, like, when we absolutely positively have to make this one roll, like this one test, this challenging test to defeat this creature or whatever, how are we going to pull that off? And and I should mention there's a fatigue. I didn't even mention this. There's a fatigue mechanism where each player has different skills. They're located on their board. Like the captain has all 5 of the skills, but other characters only have some. But you can add upgrades to them that'll give them more of those skills. And when you activate them, you'll get to count those. So if like the target is an 8 and a character has 3 of that skill, then you need to get a 5 or better on your fate card to be able to defeat it. But if you want to have other players help, like all the players can say, okay, well this person's got 2 of that skill, okay, now we have 5. And this person's got 1 of that skill, okay, now we have 6. Now we only need a 2 or better to pass that test. But everybody who's involved in the check has to put a fatigue token on their character. And after you put a second one down, you flip it over the fatigue token to show that they have got 2 fatigue. They can't be part of any more tests until that you lower their fatigue, and they are going to do like -1 damage in combat. So taking fatigue is sometimes you have to do it. There's no way around it. But you need to be figuring ways to mitigate that fatigue, and you can mitigate that fatigue by finding resources to cook different foods and things like that are going to heal your players, reduce fatigue, increase morale, things like that. And there's all kinds of other things that, like, if people become frightened or poisoned or cursed or what have you, there's all these different statuses that the characters can come up to, and you got to figure out ways. And a lot of times, like the captain can give a heroic speech to somebody who's got low morale, and you can reduce get rid of a low morale token, things like that. There's ways to mitigate it, but then again, every single time that you're mitigating that damage and trying to figure out what you're going to be doing, you're wasting time. You're running out of time to accomplish certain things. So it's about timing, it's about risk management, it's about resource management, and just a ton of stuff that goes on in the game. But obviously, the most fun part about the game is the story. It's the mystery. It's about diving deep into these islands, these crazy islands, and figuring out where to go and what to do. And trust me, you'll run through a campaign, and yes, the campaigns do start at like the same point every single time, and I'll fully admit I find that to be kind of like I don't really like that so much. But and I'll talk about that a little bit in my final thoughts. But you don't, it is a sandbox. You can go any which way you want. You can dive into whatever you want, and you can figure out whatever you want to do. And it is super cool, and it is super fun. And like, just because you run into a certain challenge, you don't have to attack it the same way that you did the last time you ran into that challenge. And so your story is going to be different as well. So Enough about all that. Let me tell you why I love this game and why this one just absolutely blew me away. Oh, all right, sorry. Came back a little earlier than I thought. All right, maybe you did skip the whole thing. Ha ha ha! It's not real. This isn't live. My wife just brought me my lunch, so I apologize. But Sleeping Gods. There's so many things about the game that I like. I mean, obviously the artwork is amazing. The mystery of the world that was created by Ryan and his wife is fantastic. Well, let's stop right there. Let's talk about mechanisms wise. Straightforward. This game's like pretty straightforward. You'll have to go a round or two. There's an excellent, as I said, there's an excellent player aid in there that's fantastic, but there's also a really good like how to do the walkthrough and just teach yourself how to play the game. The first time you play it, definitely do that. It's like 3 or 4 pages in the rule book, this little quick start rule book, and I'll teach you the basics of it without really going into a lot of the mysteries and things that are going to be happening. And it teaches you how to do different skill challenges, the resource management, just basically kind of like the pushing your luck in certain situations, just how the bones of the game work. And I think that's what Ryan has done in past games, and I think he did it really well with Sleeping Gods, is that he gives his games a really nice skeleton. And then after that skeleton is working and it's strong and it's like, it's like got adamantine on it, like Wolverine, and it's impervious. Now he starts building the awesomeness on top of it, and he starts creating the story and the narrative and the world that you're going to be monkeying around with when you play the game. All of this would. That skeleton, that strong adamantine or unobtainium or whatever vibranium skeleton that the story is based on would be worthless if it wasn't for the story that's going through. And I can't talk too much about the story, right? So much about this game was like making decisions of doing in certain encounters to figure out how to handle certain things that are going to be happening to you. And I mean, the game is made to to beat you up and then lay off a little bit, beat you up even harder and lay off a little bit, and then just start doing a really good beatdown. And I like that about it. It kind of felt like different acts of a movie, right? It's like you kind of like, okay, you kind of ramp up and you back down, and ramp up again, and so on and so forth. It felt like a story that was being told, like watching a play or watching a movie and watching the movie unfold in front of you. And for me to like go into depth of different things that are going to happen to you in the game is doing a disservice. It's like everyone deserves to be able to go into Sleeping Gods as a blank slate, obviously for the first time, and being able to just experience the flow. Now, the game's awesome. The story's awesome. The cool little paragraph entries that you read out of the book are awesome. The way you approach those things, you can approach them in so many different ways. Just awesome. It's just so much fun. I haven't been this excited till when I first played Seventh Continent, and just kind of like that whole oh my gosh, look at this giant world I get to mess around in and see what I have. And there's nobody stopping you. There's nobody stopping you from saying I'm just going to go all the way over here and see what this island is over here. I'm going to leave this area and I'm going to go to a whole different map and see what's going on over there. There's nothing stopping you from that. And also, it doesn't hold you by the hand. It'll tell you things like, it's like, we last saw this person when they headed west and found a cave. Well, then you're going to look at the map and you're like, wait a minute. Is this a cave here? Is that a cave here? It's nobody. There's not like anybody saying on easy mode where you're like, okay, it's like, go to Sector 7G and find the lost relic. There's nothing like that. It is totally like, I think this is it. Do you think that's it? I don't know. Let's go. Let's go and see if that's where we have to go and find out. And if it isn't there, but you probably already also found a fantastic little story as well, even if it isn't the one that you were looking for. It kind of reminded me a little bit, in a weird way, of like Skyrim, when like, you know, that 10-year-old video game where like you would just like, oh, I got to get to that spot that's halfway across the map. I'm going to start walking that way. But as you're walking, you're like, oh, there's a weird ruined castle over there, and oh, there's like a cool ancient crypt over there. Should I go over there and see what's over there? Should I go here? You know, so like you kind of feel like there's other places you can go. So do you stay on your main quest, or you just go and start spelunking and see what's around? And you know, and I like that freedom that you had, right? So it's if you're looking for, like I said, a sandbox game, if you're looking for a story game, if you're looking for a narrative game, if you're looking for a cooperative game, strongly suggest this one. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Like I said, it's just fantastic. Now, here's my tiny little minor quibbles. So there's so much about the game that I love. Well, actually, one minor quibble, and a quibble that I've heard that other people have that I want to address. So first, the quibble that other people have had that I haven't, that I want to address. There has been a fair number of people that said the game is too hard. And I agree. The game is probably too hard for a lot of people. And I say this in a way that, like, not that I'm like this masterful game player. I got crushed. My daughter and I, when we played through our first campaign, we didn't do well. But it was a great story. And yeah, we definitely felt like we were losing more than we were winning, but we kept coming back night after night to play the game until we completed our story. And now we're going to start up another one again. That doesn't bother me. If you have a problem with the game not having kind of an easy mode, you might have a problem with this game. Recently, Scott Nicholson, yeah, I'm name dropping, posted something where he said that, like, he felt that this game would be a lot more fun for him if there was somebody else at the table that he could bemoan their bad luck with. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that, yes, you could totally play this game solo, but there's a lot to maintain, there's a lot to take care of, and having another person to shoulder half of the bookkeeping would be very nice. And also, when something bad happens, it's all misery loves company, as they say. So maybe this is something that you want to make sure you have at least one other person. I don't think it would work more. I think 2 people is the sweet spot. I think with too many cooks, you're going to spoil the soup. And I think 1 player, it's more fun with somebody at the table. That's just my opinion, but that's my thoughts. Second thing, this is a minor quibble. I'm actually going to reference Skyrim again. So, Skyrim has a standard opening. That, like, if you haven't ever played the game, spoilers, you wake up on a cart, and you're being led to your execution, and they go from there. That standard vanilla opening, if you want to go back and replay the game, it takes a while to go through. And so Skyrim, being that it's old, has a huge modder community. And one of the best mods they ever made, or somebody ever made, was Alternate Start, which was basically like gave like 10 other options from the vanilla start. Like, oh, do you want to be a soldier in the army? You can do that. Do you want to be a wizard at the academy? You can do that. Do you want to be a bandit that lives in the forest? You can do that. It gave other options for how to begin the game, and that was excellent. Now, the reason I'm telling you about that is the fact that when you begin the game again, you start in the same spot every single time. And so, unless you just radically say, you know what, to heck with this, we're going west, and just speed off into the distance or whatever, it's going to be tough to, like, not have, like, kind of the same beginning every single time. which not necessarily is bad because, like I said, you can encounter the areas differently. But I would wish that either there would be like a jump start. And the game does kind of jumpstart you a little bit already, but I wish there was maybe even more of a jumpstart mechanism that would be like, okay, you've played the game, you've played a couple of campaigns already, you played 2 or 3. How about like here's this jumpstart, and we're gonna give you this quest, these items, these interactions, and you're going to start on this spot right here. And you know, like let's say you started on spot, you know, I'm not going to give you any names, but like you start on a different spot on a different map, and the game just said, all right, put these, you finished these quests, take these quests as your starting quests, and then just start here with these resources and this status and things like that. And I think if you had that, I think like I would be more excited each time that the game's going to come back to the table. I mean, I see myself playing through several of these campaigns, and these campaigns take several play sessions to go through. You know, it is a longer game. You could sit down and power through an entire campaign in one sitting, but that would be a slog, right? I think it is better. It's better suited as a dish you slowly eat, and you allow the flavors and the aromas to percolate, and then until you come back to the table. So I guess I would wish that. I'm still going to get my plays out of it. I'm still going to get my money out of the game. There's no question there at all. But that would be my other very minor quibble. You know, I don't know if I have any 10s. Oh, the wash machine stuff. I don't know if I have any 10s in my collection. I mean, there's a couple. There's like 2 or 3 that I consider a 10 game. And this is almost there. This is like that 9.75. And I'm even loath to give ratings, but this is like 9.5, 9.75. It's like right there. And if somebody ever came up with a, hey, cool, here's a way to begin the game in a different spot at a different time, and you don't have to go through that same starting stuff, I would be all over this, and it would be a 10 right there. Boom, done. And I can only imagine that when Ryan expands upon this game, Ryan and his wife, I shouldn't be saying just Ryan, when this fabulous duo, you may expand upon this, I can only imagine they're going to do something like that, or just give me a brand new world to dive into. I would love a world where instead of a ship, it was a submarine. Would that be cool? That'd be cool. Well, anyway, maybe I said too much. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, Sleeping Gods, it's fantastic. It's excellent. I feel sorry for people who didn't back it, because I think you're going to be waiting. I mean, I know games are on their way. I know some backers are still waiting for it. And I know that like the retail copies are going to be a little bit of time before they show up. But yeah, pick it up. You'll love it. I guarantee it. That's that. Tell me what you think. Hit the whole like button and subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll try to respond to every single comment that I get. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.